fasten your championship belts because this podcast is unprofessional. Welcome to your weekly home for wrestling reviews, discussion, predictions, and more. This is Unprofessional Wrestling. Here are your hosts, Schwartz, George, and Travis.
Welcome back to another week of Unprofessional Wrestling. I am joined, of course, by my co-hosts. We got George over here. George, tell us how you are.
How I am or how my day's going?
Yes.
Good.
That's excellent. And then, of course, over here, live via satellite, pal, we got Schwartz. Schwartz, how's it hanging?
It's beautiful over here in Minnesota.
Over there in Tiffany Stratton's hometown, of course. And it's similarly nice over here because we're not too far apart. We're always connected at the heart, though. Isn't that right?
Nah.
Must be like
No,
a
I'm just
Travis
kidding.
thing.
Us Travs got to stick together. Yeah, if you don't
Yeah, you
know,
wouldn't get it.
Schwartz's real name is not Schwartz, but we can't have two Travises because that'd be too confusing.
We can call him Travy Trav 22.
I offered to not be Travis, and he said he was fine with whatever. So this is just what we landed on, I guess.
What was your name going to be?
I don't remember.
Swallows.
Whoa.
Patrick.
Probably would have been it. As we referenced in our Perry Von Vicious interview. No,
Swallow.
not Swallow.
Swallows.
That's stupid.
We should
You're
do that.
stupid.
We should do
Yeah,
that
can we
one
change
night.
that?
Or one day.
Change what?
Your name.
No,
Why?
because I have the power of the graphics.
We all paid for this equally.
Yes, but you don't know how to use any of it, so
Try me.
you don't know shit. Of course, we have the Elite CM Punk action figure here that was gifted to me by George's wonderful girlfriend, Larissa. So big shout out to her for that. Appreciate it. And of course, if you're joining us here on YouTube, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Then also don't forget to leave us a like and a comment on the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm, helps suggest our content, as long as you hopefully enjoy it, to others who may hopefully enjoy it. Otherwise, if you can't stick around for the whole live stream or whatever the case may be, feel free to look us up on Apple and Spotify. Just search Unprofessional Wrestling. Give us a subscribe and a rating there as well. So with that being said, we have some stuff to talk about today, boys. And we had a few eventful things happen on Raw and SmackDown, I reckon.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got a couple more matches now for WrestleMania that have been figured out. So let's talk about SmackDown. There were a couple things that happened, but of course the biggest thing was this whole CM Punk favor. We learned at the beginning of the show when Punk and Paul Heyman were out together, and Heyman said, "I have a favor for you, Punk. Please tell me what your favor is. I need to know." It's eating the guy alive, apparently. Punk basically says he's going to tell him tonight, but not unless Roman is there as well. He wants Roman and Heyman to learn about this favor together. Later on, Heyman backstage says he is going to say yes to the favor no matter what the favor is. So at this point, did you guys have any inklings on what this favor might be that we would figure out later on in the night?
I think Schwartz pretty nailed it last week.
Well,
I guess I
no.
don't
This
recall.
was culminating from yours. You definitely said it.
I said
was
it?
the one that.
Oh, no, you said
Yeah,
something else. Okay.
I was the one that said I had a feeling that Punk was going to try to insert himself into the title picture. You were the one that flat out said that he thinks that he's going to take Paul Heyman from him.
I think I had the same idea that it was going to try to insert him into the title picture somehow, I guess.
Mm-hmm. As the night went on, the more it sounded true that he wanted Paul Heyman, just because of what was leading up to it. He just kept saying, this is what do you say? This is a making or something in the making. And then
pretty
that
much
kind of
like
just
10
like
years in the making.
Yeah. And so I was like, damn, he is gonna do it.
So,
So,
a couple other points that we want to hit on. Not too long after that opening segment, we saw Rey Fenix make his debut. His debut was almost kind of the same as what they did with Penta, which is fine. But I want them to, I mean, their entrances, their songs, they both did a promo in front of the crowd. The debuts were almost the same, which is fine. I just, I hope they really portray them as different people. And I understand they're brothers and whatever, right? But Kat's back here losing her fucking mind, apparently.
I did notice that Rey Fenix's promo after did not really get as big a pop as Penta's.
No, there's definitely more excitement around Penta's debut, I think, but that's not to say that people won't be excited for Fenix, but they've done a really good job with Penta so far in building him up, and he's now a part of WrestleMania, and they'll build Rey Fenix up. We'll just see what they do with it. So, we got another vignette. We haven't mentioned this on the show before, but we got another vignette of what seems to be a possible debut of an impending superstar. Very mysterious sort of vignette. We saw the number 4, some smoke. We kind of saw a skull-looking face with a couple coins over the eyes. And I think we've maybe talked about this, but if not, did you guys have any idea of what this might be beforehand?
My whole thought was Aleister Black all the way.
It does seem like it would be, but having that little vignette kind of almost like, I don't know, it's almost like a Uncle Howdy thing again.
Yeah,
in a sense.
And I get that because the Wyatts are on SmackDown now. One thing that was pointed out, I don't remember if it was like a Reddit post or something like that. They showed that picture of that face with the coins over the eyes, and the coins were Dutch, and Aleister Black is Dutch. So, yeah, I think it seems pretty clear. A lot of people have the theories that could be Randy Orton's new opponent for Mania. I guess I doubt that. I don't feel like, I don't know, they would have enough build up or excitement, but who knows? Maybe
it could be like the whole Cody thing as well. Everybody thought or knew he was coming, and it was handpicked by he who shall not be named, and showed up at WrestleMania and beat Seth.
Mm-hmm. I've always been a really big Aleister Black guy, and not. I want to make it clear. I don't think I am a big black guy. I'm a big Aleister Black guy. Let's not get confused.
I was just more questioning.
Wait a minute. Just kidding.
I was just questioning the whole, you did like Aleister Black.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You just never. I don't think this is the first time I've ever heard this from you.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that thing's about to fall.
We didn't really get that much into wrestling together, and probably until after he was gone from WWE.
Maybe.
But I really liked him in WWE, especially NXT. Good music, good entrance, good moveset. Very unique. All right. This is one of the big topics from the last week. Charlotte and Tiffany. And I got to say off the bat, before SmackDown, there wasn't any interest from almost anybody in this WrestleMania title match. However, boy, are people interested now. Whether or not you think it went off the rails, it was unscripted, and it seems like it probably was. But in any case, you cannot deny this has generated interest in the match. And if you think it hasn't, you are dead balls wrong.
Dead balls.
You don't joke about dead balls.
No. I did read that, yeah, Charlotte went off script first, which is why Tiffany had that line about the 0-3 for divorces and then left, because she figured that was gonna create some craziness because she already, because Charlotte already went off script, so she didn't want to have a scrum or anything.
Yeah, and it's all speculation to an extent. When you put the puzzle pieces together, I think it's pretty clear that things maybe didn't go necessarily perfectly according to plan. I do think, and people have a lot of different opinions about who came out of this better or who looked like the bigger star. I agree with half of those people, and I completely disagree with half of those other people. So let's listen to the last little bit of this promo because it was really interesting. We got OCD champion in the chat here. Welcome. Says it's Tiffy time. Charlotte is so cringy, and I
agree.
listen, I'm not saying that's always the case, but man, on Friday it wasn't good. Well, Charlotte didn't look good. And by the way, if anybody else is watching the live stream on YouTube, it looks like we got a few people in here. Feel free to just say hello, say hi, say buenos dias or whatever. So let's listen to the last. We haven't done sound bites on this in a while. This one was definitely worth bringing it back. Oh, that almost fell. Anyways, technical difficulties here. Anyways, am I waiting for you, George?
He's heard
it's probably going to be
before.
fine, just like that. Just, you know what? Maybe just let it hang. As long as things aren't coming unplugged, it'll be fine. We're slowly working on our podcast setup here as time goes on. All right, get your headphones back on.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, that's rude. Okay. That's rude.
You could hear all of that.
I know, that's why I said it.
If he didn't pay for a third of this shit, he'd be so fucking fired right now. Anyways.
Fucking bed.
All right, now let's listen to the last bit of this promo. And if anybody has any thoughts on this in the chat, like Larry Bird, who just said hello.
Yellow.
Is that popcorn?
My favorite listener of our program.
It's fucking popcorn.
All right, here we go.
It doesn't matter if you win 100.
What's the matter, Charlotte? Cat got your tongue?
Oh no, I'm sorry, they're booing so loud. What would you come, guys, what would you like me to say? Man, this is really cool because here's the thing. Tiffany could win. You know what, Tiffany? You can go ahead and have the last word.
Charlotte, at 25 years old, what were you doing? You were trying to become a volleyball player drinking in your daddy's basement. And what am I doing at 25 years old? I'm walking into WrestleMania as the WWE Women's Champion. You say that this is just another match to you? Seems like I've gotten to you, Charlotte. And your WrestleMania record may be 4-3, and you may be the queen inside of the ring, but outside of the ring, you ain't the queen of shit.
What are you saying? I can't hear you, Tiffany. It's so squeaky. I can't hear you. Like, oh my God. What are you saying, Tiffany?
And for 16 more days, you get to call yourself WWE's least favorite Nepo baby. Congratulations.
Nepo queen. Nepo queen. Number one Nepo baby.
And when I beat you at WrestleMania, Charlotte, and when it's all said and done, you're going to be just like you are outside of the ring. Alone. What is that record? Like what? 0-3?
Woo! Hey, Tiffany, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs?
Oofta. There's a lot to take in there, boys. Schwartz, your thoughts on that Charlotte Tiffany segment?
God, it was messy. I mean,
Good word
I
for
didn't
it.
really like. I didn't really like the back and forth just because it didn't seem. I don't know. It just seemed like it fell off almost immediately, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, huh?" And it's like, cat got your tongue. I was like, "Come on, Tiffy. Well, that's a 5-year-old thing to say." And then Charlotte doing the squeaky voice thing. I'm like, "Okay, this is definitely not on the script. You clearly are pissed off, and you're trying to get at her. You probably threw everything out the window and was like, I'm going after her now." It was messy. I think it wasn't exactly what OCD champion said. It was cringy on Charlotte's end, but yeah,
George?
nope, no.
Like Schwartz said, it was definitely messy, but I felt like this is what it kind of needed, just
Mm.
to give Tiffany that extra boost. Because I don't know, I'm leaning towards Tiffany to win at WrestleMania, and Charlotte's just kind of like a whiny. We won't say that word.
I mean, I mostly agree because, like I said, this got people interested in this match and in this feud, and people haven't really been interested till now. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. It was messy. It was a little disorganized. A lot of people have said that they thought the strong Chicago crowd, which is obviously a very synonymous crowd for being loud and boisterous and, making what side they're on very well known. I've heard a lot of people say that the crowd threw Charlotte off, and that's why she seemed frazzled or whatever the case may be. But I think that is a bullshit excuse because
Same.
Charlotte has been around for a long time. A lot of people say she's the best female wrestler to ever do it. And if she really is, she should know how to handle every crowd and how to not necessarily get them to boo or cheer, but how to get them to listen to her. And she didn't do any of that. She backed down. She got flustered. She didn't know what to say. Her comebacks to Tiffany were terrible. And I mean, granted, the crowd was very much on Tiffany's side through this whole thing, which probably helped. But Tiffany had strong points, scripted or not. It obviously went off the rails. Mentioning Charlotte's 3 divorces, I thought was great. and here's why. Charlotte's very one-dimensional, and I think that's why people are very over her. Charlotte's very one-dimensional. All they're doing is portraying her to be like another Ric Flair. She doesn't really have any character to her other than being portrayed as just the best women's wrestler. A Nepo baby. That's really her character. I think if you bring in some elements of reality, like her relationships or whatever the case may be, let's humanize her more, make her more relatable, people might start to give a shit more. Because right now she's getting, I don't want to say go away heat, but it's people don't want to see her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's exactly what you were saying. She's one-dimensional. She's only been riding this whole queen thing because that was her thing when she got in. Her gimmick was she's the queen because Ric Flair is the nature boy.
There's been 0 changes to her character the entire time she's been around.
Well, what could you do with her?
There's a lot of things you can do with her. There's so much you can
could
do
do
with
a
her.
lot.
You gonna put her like in a tag team or?
Well, no, just change her
No.
character. Like so many people have
She-
changed their characters. I mean, like, and I'm not saying it has to be completely drastically different from what she is now, but you can
look at
even
Naomi.
keep her as the queen, but you need to add some layers in there. Like she needs to be more than just somebody who just wants to win a title, and that's all she's been.
True.
Yeah, like Naomi's glow thing. Now
Mhm.
that's gone. Now Naomi's doing just
Yeah.
fine, doing a little tweak to her heel.
Yeah, and I think
For sure.
Naomi's going to be a strong heel going forward, and I didn't have any interest in Naomi, and now I do. And I think that's a really good example. And I've heard a lot of people say that they thought Tiffany mentioning the divorces was really low or whatever the case may be. I disagree because Tiffany mentioned it in that promo. She said, "Oh, you went on a talk show and cried about, like her divorce or whatever the case may be." It's like if she put that out in public, that's fair game. I also understand the point of well, that's Ashley Fleer that got divorced, not Charlotte Flair. And that's not Tiffany Stratton that's dating Kaiser. Okay. But we need to add some real life into this because keeping it all in the world of fiction hasn't been working.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. And I think if they have Tiffany lose at Mania, that's going to be really bad for her. And people are going to be just absolutely pissed.
Do you guys think that you think Charlotte kind of goes off script during the match?
No.
All this?
I'm sure they got a
If it's
freaking
actually
earful after that.
Probably. Because it was good, but also bad, that whole segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was entertaining. And Tiffany finally looked like she could keep up for once. And it's because she wasn't written to look like she's underneath a Charlotte. Like, I understand maybe you want to look like the underdog to an extent, but she is still the champion. And I think there's an element there of you need to make it look like this is an even matchup. And before Friday, it didn't look like that was it at all. So that's what I know about that. Outside of that, on to another women's match. We had B-Fab versus Naomi. Naomi is attacked by Jade. As soon as she comes out for her entrance, security comes and breaks up. Naomi gets to the ring. They do the match with B-Fab. Naomi wins the match. And then Naomi calls out Jade, who quickly comes up behind her in the ring and attacks again. Jade wipes out the security that make a return. Naomi escapes, and then Nick Aldis comes out and announces that we are going to have a one-on-one match between Jade Cargill and Naomi at WrestleMania. Fun fact that I learned about this is the first ever in the history of WrestleMania, the first ever women's singles match that isn't for a title or has lingerie involved.
What if they wear lingerie, though?
Oh, my God.
Really digging in the vault on that one, aren't you?
But isn't that interesting?
It is. It's
like that is legitimately history making, and it's two African Americans at that. Not that that's necessarily new because we had Sasha and Bianca, right? Is that who it was? Whatever.
I want to say yes.
So, but no, I found that really interesting that we actually have a women's singles match that is story driven without a title, and there's just not enough of that. Period. In the company.
No, and the 2-day WrestleMania opens that up for these kind of situations.
Mm-hmm. So later on, man, definitely the shittiest part about SmackDown. We had Nick Aldis come out. He introduced Kevin Owens. And the long and short of it is that Kevin Owens comes out and he announces that he has a serious neck injury. He's going to need surgery, major surgery. And he is out of WrestleMania and out indefinitely, for that matter. So he thanks the crowd. And, you know, Kevin Owens has been a heel. And I keep hoping, man, he's going to turn this around. He's about to stun Nick Aldis and flip off the crowd or something, right? Like, I'm hoping. I'm hoping. But Randy Orton comes out, gives his respect. They kind of give a little nod to each other. And then Kevin gets out of the ring and starts walking towards the back. And the crowd boos because they were hoping this was a swerve as well. They're not booing Kevin, but they're mad at the fact that, oh, this looks like it's actually legit. And then Aldis tells Randy, hey, you're not going to have a match at WrestleMania. Randy pauses. Then he gives Nick Aldis an RKO right in the middle of the ring. And I thought that was kind of funny because if you remember the last time Randy Orton RKO Nick Aldis fined him like, I don't know, like $5,000 or whatever it was. And then after Randy paid the fine, Nick Aldis is like, oh, you paid me double. And Randy's like, oh, that's for next time. And this must be that next time. So that's actually pretty funny. There's some cool continuity in there. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously a huge bummer, and I don't know if we see Randy Orton at WrestleMania anymore, but what do you, George, what did you think of this?
I thought, as well as you probably thought and Shorts thought, that it was just all a gig, that Kevin Owens just going to, hit him both the stunner and be like, nah, fuck you guys, I'm kidding.
Definitely hope so.
Yeah. They're gonna do something with Randy. They have to. He is so over right now. It's unbelievable. If they don't have his song playing and getting the pop like it normally does, they're insane. I did read a little interview that Kevin Owens did. I don't know if I told you guys this, but he actually got an MRI back in December to figure out like if there was anything wrong with him.
Yep, I saw this. He did a full body MRI just for shits and gigs, and then he got another one recently, and that's where it showed the injury.
In January, yeah. So it was his match in January.
Potentially,
which would have been...
it was potentially the match with Sammy, but that's not to say it couldn't have been a SmackDown or house show either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was, between December and January is when it happened.
So, yeah, that really sucks. Obviously, we'd like to see Randy be a part of WrestleMania somehow. We don't know what that's going to look like, but that's the shitty thing sometimes about the wrestling business, and it's the physical abuse they put their bodies through is very real, and these are the consequences some people are unfortunate enough to have to pay. And it was reported he could be out a possible 2 to 5 years if this doesn't end his career. That's a long ass time. So we'll see what happens. But obviously we hope Kevin Owens gets better and we can see him back sooner than later, but not too soon.
Maybe he'll have enough time to do an interview with us.
Yeah. We'll have to do some fundraising. If anybody wants to donate to the cause, reach out.
We're still in the process of buying a PS5.
Yeah, we need Shorts to get a PS5, and we should get another title belt at some point, because the one box unboxing video we did of a belt on the channel, it still does really, really well, and it's probably the only reason we have people that subscribe to us. It's not for our great content or our luscious voices. They want to see some fucking belts get unboxed, which is fair.
What if we did like a ladder match one day?
What?
All three of us?
What?
Yeah. I got a new back. I'm good.
I'd fucking win, but
No, the fuck you wouldn't. You got 2 left feet.
you don't know dick.
You don't know shit about dick.
All right. We got a lot more to get through here. Really quick. What?
Was that a maybe or
No. Real quick here, we got Braun versus Jacob Fatu in a last man standing match for the number 1 contendership for the United States Championship. So I would think that's going to be a WrestleMania match. Good match, entertaining match. Jacob Fatu barely wins just as Braun Strowman is about to get up on his feet. So I'm glad they protected Braun a little bit in that sense, where they didn't make him look like a weak little bitch, I guess. And it was not a squash by any means. Fatu had to earn that. That being said, we're going to get to the closing segment of the show, and this is where we find out what the favor actually is. So we saw Roman Reigns arrive to the arena, Paul Heyman waiting for him. Roman steps out of the car, doesn't even look at Heyman, doesn't say a word to him, walks through Gorilla, walks down the ramp straight to the ring. He doesn't pause to smell the roses. He doesn't put his finger in the air. There's no pyro, just stone face, straight walk to the ring. Starts to call out Punk, basically. Then here comes Seth Rollins and tells Roman that he is underestimating Punk, always has, and it's his fault Punk is involved in this match to begin with, because Roman Reigns has been paying too much attention to Punk, and Roman Reigns prevented Seth from stopping Punk in that cage match and whatever else have you. Punk comes out. He explains his history with Paul, back from OVW through ECW, everything like that. And he tells Roman Reigns that the favor is that Paul Heyman is going to be in his corner at WrestleMania. And now going back, a while ago, back when Punk was in WWE the first time. I saw a video, and maybe you guys saw this as well. Heyman told Punk in the middle of the ring that his dream is to walk him down the aisle at WrestleMania for a main event match. More continuity, boys. It's a long time in between then and now, but damn it, they are making it make sense. We say it all the time on the show. Make it make sense. We have background, and we have reason, and we have history. I fucking love it, and I'm here for it. So anyways, Punk tells Roman the favor is that Heyman's going to be with me at WrestleMania. Roman laughs. Funny, haha. He tells Paul, let him down easy. And he says, even if I would let him do it, he still wouldn't do it. So Roman says, Paul, let him down easy. And Heyman, with tears in his eyes, and says, I can't, my tribal chief. I can't. And the whole time, Seth is in the background, just laughing his ass off, which really added a lot to this. There are, in some ways, Seth has felt like a little bit of a third wheel in this because a lot of it has been centered around Heyman. And Seth laughing in the background really added to this. And it really legitimized him saying that, Roman, you're underestimating Punk. Because, look, just further proof right here. So Roman kind of starts to back Heyman into the corner because he's upset at this point. And then Punk gets Roman, hits him with a GTS, and the show ends with Punk and Rollins in a stare down. A fun fact here that I found as well. This is the first WrestleMania we're coming up on that Roman hasn't walked in as a world champion in 4 years. Isn't that wild?
I mean, he carried the company for, how many years?
Basically.
Yeah, he did.
Basically. What do you guys think about, and we'll talk more about it a little bit as we get into Raw. What do you guys think, though, of this being the favor? Do you think, are you underwhelmed by it, or do you think it met expectations? What do you think?
I think it fits because it kind of throws Roman off his game.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, how many years ago that Paul was just like, hey, I want to be the one that does this with you. And I don't see Heyman breaking that favor.
Yeah. To me, this seems like, I understand it's sentimental for them to do this. But come on, dude. You have this favor. You have anything you could ever want on this favor because Paul Heyman is a pretty top dude there. Could do whatever he wanted. But yeah, you have to go to sentimental value on that. My thought is, nobody really benefits from this.
Maybe.
Like what?
Maybe not.
Okay. Regardless, I heard this, and I'm kind of like going a little bit into it. Paul Heyman basically already he agreed without agreeing, essentially. Because he said he couldn't tell him that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already betraying Roman. If he goes and walks down with Punk, he's not gonna be back in the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Roman's not gonna take him back.
Yeah.
So, what is Paul Heyman gonna do? He's just gonna stay with Punk the whole time? Punk doesn't need a manager.
He's
just gonna go by himself.
He's gonna walk down with both of them.
So, all right. So with that, let's jump over to let's go right into what happened on Raw then while we're on the topic, because it obviously is a perfect bleed over. So at the end of Raw, Paul Heyman comes out, explains that he is loyal to both CM Punk and Roman Reigns, right? Seth comes out and doubts that he can be loyal to both. Seth explains that Roman has treated Paul Heyman like dirt. Yes, I said sex. It's my braces. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Braces.
Braces.
I think I'm going to have these off, hopefully in the next few months.
Do a video unboxing video of your teeth.
Yeah, you guys want to see a video of me getting my braces off?
Unbracing.
So, anyways, Seth comes out and says that he doubts Heyman can be loyal to both Punk and Roman. Seth explains that Roman has always treated Paul Heyman like dirt, gives all these examples as to how and why. He also explains that Punk doesn't love him for all of these different reasons. Then he reminded Paul, like, hey, you tried to get me on the War Games team before Punk. You went to Punk because you said no to me. So Seth is really trying hard to get into Heyman's head on all this, and it's adding some good dynamic, and it's getting Seth to look a little bit more like what he's got going on is going to matter in this match too, I guess. In my eyes.
He looks conniving.
Yeah, absolutely. He is the architect after all, or he's trying to get back to being the architect. So Rollins then tells Paul Heyman that he should remove himself from the situation and just let the three of them have their match at Mania without him being involved. And if not, Rollins is going to remove him himself by giving him a big old boot to the head and straight to the ground. Rollins starts to put his hands on Punk, or on Paul Heyman, and then Punk comes out for the save. So they're fighting for a bit, and CM Punk tries to get back in the ring. Rollins hits him with a stomp, and then as Heyman is checking on Punk, he's on his hands and knees. Seth's over there on the other side of the ring, and he comes up like he's going to stop Paul Heyman, like he threatened to do, and then he pulls back. He pulls back. He doesn't follow through with it, and then he grabs the microphone and says, Paul, now you owe me a favor. You're shaking your head, Shorts. What's up?
I don't think this is warranted to just do that.
Do what?
For Seth to just say, now you owe me a favor because I could have just stomped the shit out of you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. If they're angling, I've been saying for a while that I think Heyman's going to end up leaving WrestleMania with Seth Rollins. If that's what they're angling for, I don't love this whole, oh, now I get a favor just because I said I get one. I'm not a fan of that, but I don't want to completely shit on it without seeing how it plays out. George?
I mean, which one you said that last week? That Seth was going to have you?
That was me.
I kind of like it because it gives you like a different thing because, you've had him and Roman for how many years? You've had Paul and Punk for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
Make Rollins Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, I'm all for that. For the same reason, it'd be something different because we've seen everything else with Heyman and Roman and Heyman and Punk.
Maybe you'll start dressing differently now.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope Heyman basically gets him to come back as like a serial killer architect and not just like old Rollins. And I hope he gets him away from current Rollins, no matter what I don't know. I've said it so many times on the show. I hate Seth's character, and I have for a while. But yeah, I agree. That's what I think will happen. That's kind of what I want to happen at this point. I don't know how I feel about Seth proclaiming, oh, I get a favor now because I said I do.
Yeah, there needs to be like some sort of, I don't know, dude pulls him away from a car or something, a moving car. I don't know. Just something drastic where it's like he actually saves him and be like, now you owe me.
Yeah,
not even a favor, just you owe me.
Yeah, but even then he doesn't get a favor just because he says he does. Like Heyman's got to be able to be like, yeah, I owe you a favor. And now he has Punk to protect him.
It doesn't even need to be like, I owe you a favor. It's just if Seth actually saves him from something, I don't know, an epic beatdown from the bloodline. I have no idea. It could just be you owe me, like something like that. It doesn't have to be like you owe me a favor, or it's like I just saved your ass. You have to save my ass, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now are we thinking that Seth wins and walks out with Heyman? Is that what we're all kind of thinking right now?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna need to think about this at least another week because
we'll think about this in the pre-show. Yep. Okay.
This has
George?
some layers.
I'm with him on this.
Okay.
Also, I just don't see Seth needing Paul Heyman. I understand what Paul does for someone, but like
I also don't
Paul,
think Punk needed him when he had that really long title reign, but it was still great. So,
yeah,
I think you could arguably say Roman didn't need him, but that doesn't mean Heyman didn't add to it.
right. I mean, yeah, Paul's a character in the bloodline, so that's how it works. I just don't know how he works with Seth.
And time will tell. Next week's gonna be interesting. We've got 2 SmackDowns and 1 Raw left until WrestleMania, and I can't wait for our pre-show on Saturday, and well, maybe Sunday. We'll see, because I know it's Easter, but we'll see what happens. So with that, we'll move on here. The Women's World Championship. We had a segment open the show. Adam Pearce came out, and he said he was wrong for assuming Bianca, Io, and Rhea were going to handle that special guest referee match last week as professionals. But he explained the match is now going to be a triple threat match. And as usual, Rhea and Bianca get each other's faces, and they shove Io aside. And God, man, why is it the same thing every fucking week with these three? Like, it's every week, it's the three of them in the ring talking or getting in some scuffle, and they shove Io aside. Like, it's not interesting. It's going to be a fun match, and like overall, I don't hate how they got to the triple threat. I just every week, Io gets shoved aside. Io gets mad. Io fights back.
I think this is obviously they're building for Io to basically be like the little sister,
the underdog.
You know, like it's the middle child, the oldest child. They're doing, they're fighting or whatever, and the youngest child's trying to come in, kind of thing, and says, "Yeah,
she looks
leave
like,
us alone," kind of deal.
She looks like the underdog because it's gonna make her win look more impressive at Mania.
It's
the
already,
other two are just gonna be focused on each other, anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's fair. All right. So we got American Alpha with El Grande Americano versus the LWO. Pretty entertaining match. El Grande catches the victory after headbutting Dragon Lee after Ivy Nile slipped him a little steel plate that he put in his mask. So he's headbutting people with the steel now under his mask. And later on backstage, Ray said he wants El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Now,
I know what you're going to say.
Picture this. What do you think I'm going to say?
Mask versus mask.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah.
No, that's
Loser
incorrect.
has to take their fucking mask off.
No, it's incorrect. Shorts?
Damn it.
What do you think I'm going to say? What I want to happen at WrestleMania with Rey Mysterio and El Grande?
Loser leaves town. I have no idea.
No. What I think is going to happen is El Grande takes the mask off, and it's not Chad Gable.
Do you, okay, going off of that then, they have to walk him out and basically do most of this match as Chad Gable. Somewhere is going to be like going under the ring or out in the crowd, and it's going to be a switcheroo, and it's going to be someone totally different.
It's going to be that
think?
freaking Kurt Angle segment from like 2003. You guys probably don't remember that, do you?
I kind of do. But man, I can imagine like somebody else walks out for the match. It's clearly not Chad Gable, but even when the mask comes off, like the whole crowd like acts like they're shocked.
I think it would be better if Chad Gable actually came out like that, because everybody knows his physique and his
Yeah, I'm behind that
his
too.
body.
I think that makes sense.
But it's just like something has to happen where it changes, where it's like
Gracias!
immediately. Yeah.
Who would it be?
Viscera.
What?
Rest in peace. Wow, dude.
I don't
Whatever.
know.
Probably Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, obviously.
Rusev.
All right.
No, he is rumored to be back.
That's true. Apparently, he was at WWE headquarters in the last handful of days. Allegedly.
Another thing is that him and Lana have been hanging out again.
So, yeah, allegedly. So, who knows? Rusev's best was definitely when he was on the main roster with Lana. No question about it. In my
when
opinion.
he was the Bulgarian brute.
So coming off of what happened last week on Raw with Jimmy getting absolutely bloodied by Gunther while Jay was zip tied to the ropes just out of reach, having to watch this go down.
Murdered.
Yeah, so Gunther comes out to the ring. Jay immediately comes out after. No yeeting, no smiles, visibly upset, like shaking. He's so upset while he's holding the microphone before he even says anything. He talks about how his brother's blood is on his hands, just like it was all over Gunther, because he was scared to stop the attack last week. He says it was his darkest moment, but in that moment, a light bulb also went off, and that light bulb was him realizing he is no longer afraid of Gunther. And
Wow.
next week, I'll do it next week. Is that okay?
Will you, though?
Will I?
I don't know. You've been saying this, and will you?
Will I?
You do it like every week.
I haven't done it since we came back.
So what's the better time right now?
I miss the old Travis.
Russell.
You're different. I don't like this new Trav.
Seriously.
I like you pre-marriage.
What better that is the biggest difference in my life since I did it last. If you're a longtime listener, you know what's going on. But if not, you'll find out next week.
Don't get married.
If there's any takeaway from this, don't get married.
I'm gonna get stabbed.
Because you start saying wrestlers' names differently. And if you don't want that to happen, well, you should stay single, apparently.
Yeah. Seriously.
I don't think my wife listens to the show. I don't think she has since the first one, so I think I'm safe. Don't tell
I don't think
her
my
about
wife
this.
even knows I do this.
I mean,
Just hiding in the closet.
well, yeah,
Just kidding.
he's one of those closeted wrestling fans.
You can come out, dude.
Yeah, come out of the closet. It's 2025, man.
It's just
Everybody knows.
dudes wrestling with their shirts off. Come on.
What?
What? You
I
made
mean,
it weird.
Not all of them.
No, it's hilarious because every time I'm watching it out there in the living room, it's like I swear my wife thinks that I'm just watching women wrestling because every time she comes walking around, it's always during the women's segments.
Every time I walk upstairs, my wife is watching TV. It's always some sort of sex scene. So she might be a porn addict. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we should get back on track with this. So, anyways, Jay says he's no longer afraid of Gunther, and he says he's going to say a prayer the day before the match, and he's going to ask the Lord for forgiveness for who he is going to become, and he's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. This is a very great promo that Jay did, and between last week and this week, I think these are the exact right moves that they need to make to get people to the right level of excitement they need for a world title match.
Exactly. This gave me full body chills just listening to his promo because I was like, I know he's going to be serious and pretty, obviously pretty angry, but he pretty much said the exact right things.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, he fumbled a little bit, when he was talking about his mom or whatever, but it was more of like
Made it seem real to me.
Yeah. Like he was
Jesus.
flustered a little bit.
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Say it. Well, now you got to say it.
We'll talk about it later.
My thought is like what's gonna happen next week, because I feel like these matches and segments, like we're getting to the right exact spot where like WrestleMania could just happen next week and it'd be fine.
It's
A
just-
lot of them
there's-
are so close to right where they need to be, and it feels like they really need to execute on these last couple shows.
I feel like a lot of them though could just stay as they are and we could just have WrestleMania.
I feel like it's gonna be like a lot of stare downs within the next week.
Exactly.
That's your
Exactly.
typical go home show.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Or
Like, you
or
gotta
contract
protect them.
Yeah, and it's a matter of, okay, do you want people to have the anticipation of when they finally touch, or do they brawl right before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And which one makes sense depends on how they do it and which feud it is. So it's tough to say, but
I mean, I wouldn't mind one more Cody and Cena segment.
they have to have one. The fact that there wasn't one in the last week was mind-boggling. You have your champion on SmackDown who wasn't even there on the second to last SmackDown before WrestleMania.
I think that works though, because I don't want, in my opinion, I don't want to see Cody and Cena. Cena has been fine. I think his promos might be getting a little bit too much now, where it's like they're getting deep. They are, and I appreciate those. Those are great. It's just I think it's starting, if he keeps going, show by show and keeps doing the same type of promo, it might get stale. And Cody coming in and doing that whole, back and forth, it's almost, I don't want to get stale.
So,
I want that one to be a brawl. Like something comes out, or one of them come out and they brawl, and that's it.
I agree. You don't want to have them come out and do nothing, essentially. Like if they're going to come out, that needs to really mean something.
So you guys feel like Cody hitting the crossroads on him was like that's it. We're not gonna do one more segment.
We have to see them one more time.
Have to,
and it has to be good.
It has to be Friday. It has to be Friday too. It can't be Monday. It has to be Friday.
Well, is it going to be this Friday or the following, the day before Mania? I think it's got to be both.
The day before.
I think it's got to be both.
I think they got to be separated this Friday. Either one of them comes out, or I don't think they need to be in the same ring on this Friday.
I agree. We need to see at least one of them this Friday, and it needs to be important. It needs to be impactful.
Yeah.
But
like, what can be said? What they already.
I feel like
I don't know.
Cena's got to retaliate. Cody hit him, so he's got to do something at least.
I agree. Fully
Cena
agree.
needs to have her hand on next Friday.
Fully agree.
I know that.
Yep, I'm on board with you there. I'm definitely on board. All right. So moving on, it was announced before the show that there's going to be a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker. Of course, interesting dynamic here because you have both Finn and Dom, members of the Judgment Day, in the match. And, they spun it backstage as well. I mean, it doesn't matter which one of you gets the belt, but that doubles our chances of getting the belt into the Judgment Day. And, of course, Finn Balor isn't going to be a team player here, and we know where that's going, but that's besides the point. So we had a match. It was Dominic Mysterio versus Penta on Raw, and Penta wins the match, gets attacked by Carlito. Braun Breaker comes out. Carlito meets him on the ramp, and Braun Breaker gives the probably craziest spear in fucking history.
I want to know how far that freaking jump was.
Oh, my God. And he almost landed on his goddamn feet doing a front flip half. Like, he almost did like the Bobby Lashley where he rolls through, but like Braun Breaker's going 30 miles an hour and could have landed on his feet. It was insane. That was just, what a freak athlete.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Also, too, did you know that him and Cora are not together anymore? Cora Jade?
I mean, I knew they were at one point, but I don't know. I'm not
There's another
like WWE housewives over here like you.
Oh, I watch NXT, so I know. There's a chick on NXT. Her name is Izzy Dane. She tweeted. She was like, "He does this to me when I walk through the door."
Oh, I saw.
Oh
that.
my God!
I saw that too.
Wow, that's something.
Turns her inside out, apparently.
Ooh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Well, so anyways, I'm interested in that IC title match. So at this point, we've got a good idea of what our U.S. Championship match is going to look like. We know what our IC title match is going to look like. And let me just look up the WrestleMania card here and we'll run through it all pretty quick. So what I have so far is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Gunther and Jey Uso for the... Well, it says Women's World Champ. Let me find a different list. Hold on.
Yeah, you do that, bud.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I don't miss any. Okay, I got it. So Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's World Championship, or the WWE Women's Championship. Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Women's World Championship is Io Sky versus Bianca versus Rhea. Roman Reigns versus Punk versus Rollins. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. United States Championship, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, which is going to be on the main WrestleMania card, as far as we know at least, is going to be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the winner of a Women's Tag Team Gauntlet match this Friday on SmackDown. We got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. We got the IC title Fatal 4-Way we just mentioned. And unofficial, we're expecting Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which as of right now is the least exciting match to me. But that's what we got for a card. So we're very close to a full card, and I'm sure we'll get the rest between. Well, I don't even know what would be left at this point. But
Chelsea Green.
No mention of
a pre-show.
Lyra.
No mention of either of those so far. But I know Lyra and Bayley are teaming together this Friday in that gauntlet match, that gauntlet number one contenders match.
Maybe that's why they're not doing anything with Lyra.
I mean, if they lose, they can
doubt
just,
it.
champion against champion.
I do think they should have at least one of the women's mid-card titles in there, because both of the men's are, and we should be looking at them equally. But I don't know if there's room on the card for both of them. So
it's 2 days. You can figure something out. Chelsea Green can have a quick match.
Well, you would think so, but
Dumpster match. Again.
I'm in. Fuck it. Let's go. All right.
She
did
a great job.
Well, with that being said, that basically covers everything that we got to cover here for this week on the live stream. Like I said, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we're putting out more content than just the live streams now, boys. The last few weeks we've been doing some clips that we've taken out of the live stream and put up as separate videos, but we're going to start doing something different as of right now. So with that being said, if you're watching live right here on YouTube, or if you're catching this after the fact, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave us a comment, share the video, do all of those things. We're going to be bringing you more wrestling content as time goes on here. We're figuring that out. Stay tuned to the channel, because next week we're going to be releasing our 3 favorite WrestleMania stages. It's WrestleMania season, boys. Also, if you want to catch us in the car, inside your earbuds, wherever it may be, don't forget to check us out on Apple and Spotify. Search Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. And of course, don't forget to check us out on X, on Facebook. Search Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. You'll be able to find us there. Boys, all roads lead to our WrestleMania pre-show happening next Saturday, live before the WrestleMania pre-show on Netflix. We'll be doing our own pre-show. We're going to go over the card. We're going to give our predictions. And it's looking like we might do that on Saturday for the Saturday and Sunday show. Any final thoughts from the boys?
Let's get to it.
We got none. That's right.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, baby. Let's go. We'll give you the old salute. We will see you next Tuesday live right here on Unprofessional Wrestling.